So you finished assembling your latest project and you're just about ready to start applying finish when you realize you've got some dents in the piece. Maybe you're just using a soft wood like this white pine. Maybe you used too much clamping pressure and didn't have any clamping pads between the clamps and the piece itself. Maybe you dropped a clamp on it, or maybe you dropped one of the parts and accidentally bounced it off your workbench. Regardless of how those dents got in your piece, here's a little tip to help you get rid of, or at least minimize the impact of dents caused by drops and over clamping. You can see here, I've got a little dent that came from using an F-style clamp and not putting a block of wood between the pad of the clamp and the face of this table leg. But I'm going to use a little trick to try and remove that dent. So I'll take a wet rag, and this is pretty wet, but it's not so wet that it's dripping water all over my bench. I'm going to put the cloth over top of the dent, and using a regular household iron, I'll go ahead and apply some steam. And I'm going to check every once in a while. And I really want to get that nice and hot and let that steam do its job. And gradually, that dent is going to come out. You don't have to have any water in the iron itself while you're doing this, because you're using the wet rag to apply the steam. You don't want to burn the wood. You just want to steam out the dent. And if your rag starts to dry out or get too hot, you can dip it in a little bit more water and reapply it. You can see now that where there was a dent before, that dent has all but disappeared. So wetting and steaming the piece is obviously going to raise the grain of the wood. But this process should be done before you do your final surface prep for finishing anyway. So before you do your sanding or planing, check over your piece, look for dents, use your iron and water to steam them out, then go ahead and do your final planing and final sanding before applying your finish. And in the finished piece, those dents should be pretty much invisible.